Hey Cannapreneurs, this week's show is sponsored by Dairy Berry's Recording Studio. Dairy Berry's Recording Studio, located in Arvada, Colorado, is your local recording studio with affordable rates. Mark is well experienced and will make your show, music, or any audio you have sound great. He makes our show come across the internet loud and clear every week, and he can do the same for your project. Take a look at dairyberriesrecordingstudio.com or call Mark at 303-456-8216. Thanks again to all of our sponsors. Now on to the show. Open up, Colorado. It's 420. Time to grind and burn.
This is not your son's stoner show.
Welcome back, friends, family, followers, Cannapreneurs. Welcome to the Cannabis Community Project. I am Brainstorm, bringing you your weekly podcast from the CCP studios high up in Denver, Colorado. Here exploring the business side of this newly emerging Colorado economy, focusing on the business, the patient, the retailer, to the geek in the garage, creating the next innovation in cannabis. This is the first media platform to help fellow Cannapreneurs just like you build sustainable business models while living the lifestyle. You have a business, an idea, or just some thoughts about cannabis? Contact me. I want to hear from you. I want to talk about all of the issues that we're dealing with in this industry. Everything from health, legal issues, food, even lifestyle stuff like music and art, and definitely the basics of growing and technology emerging from growing. Together we can help each other grow a business to make some money or grow a garden to save some money. This is it. This is a big week for us coming up. We're going to be at the Cannabis Cup. That's right, the one and only Cannabis Cup, one of the biggest events in cannabis. Right here in Denver, Colorado at the Convention Center, working with a couple partners and sponsors. Our sponsor is footing the bill. Grow Flounder figured it out, put it together. Grow Flounder, remember him down there at HMO Plus, HMOplus.com, all your growing needs. Well, they constructed grow houses, these fully contained grow houses. He went down and made a couple models and they planned it out and designed it. And they have the grow buckets that we did a show on, and they have these full-size grow houses. So they're going to go to the Cannabis Cup and we're going to sell thousands of dollars. If you're going to be down there, come on down, check out our booth. It's going to be a big booth. Over $5,000 is paid for that 20-foot space. We're going to set up the mics, do a couple shows down there. We're going to be walking around interviewing other booths and businesses. There's over 300 or maybe just 300 outside, I forget. But the outside smoking area is going to be allowed this year. And then there's going to be the inside. There's over 40,000 expected patrons to come strolling through this weekend. Our goal for to have 10 grow houses sold, handful of buckets, do 3 or 4 shows. It's going to be a big week, very big week for us. And we're going to record it all. And then we're just going to bring it back to you over the show, and you'll get to hear it. So if you can't foot the bill, the $75, $80, whatever it is, for the entrance, the day pass, or the weekend pass, I forget. All you have to do is just keep listening to this show every Saturday. So next week, we're going to be at the Cannabis Cup this Saturday. So make sure to follow us on all of our social media. As you listen to the show, you get bits and pieces of what's going on. But if you follow us on Facebook or Google Plus or wherever you want to follow us, you can get up to the minute, up to the date. I'm always checking. I'm always posting. I'm looking for the news articles, scrolling social media. So if you send me a message, I quickly respond. I also get all the emails from the website. Either or, follow us up to the date. Next week, we'll have the shows about the Cannabis Cup. This Saturday, we'll be down there. Come check us out. Let's Let's quickly move on to last week's short-term memory flashback. For all of you joining us for the first time, this is your chance to hear briefly what we talked about last week. Go back and take a listen. This was one of the funnest shows that I've done because I got the chance to hang out in Colorado Springs at the Vape Lounge, talk to patrons and employees and the weed pimps. Tell me that wasn't a fun couple of guys to talk to. Go back, take a listen, hear it right now, share it with a friend, like it, follow it. Short-term memory flashback to last week's episode, Speakeasy with Weed Pimps.
Under Amendment 64 law, we just have chosen two different modes of operation. So,
but you're not.
We're protected by the same laws, but we operate differently.
So people aren't confused. Does that mean if they come here, they can get cannabis and consume it?
Well, for the most part, we're a bring your own club.
Okay.
You know, that was our intent, and that seems to be the majority of the people come here.
BYOW.
BYOC. Yeah, we like the word cannabis. You know,
Absolutely.
We like the word cannabis for the most part, but you know, people who can come here and enjoy all the best things that they wish that they normally had in their own club, you know, and they can believe and they can act as if they own it because they do. You know, this is their club. That's what it's here for. When they come in here, they become a member and they enjoy all the facilities.
Got a couple pool tables. Looks like a jukebox in the corner.
Yeah, dartboards, pool tables. We got of course, the pimp parlor in the back, which is probably the most popular area.
Pimp parlor?
Well,
anyways.
I think one of the good things about Speakeasy too is the diversity of our entertainment, because it's not, you know, we're not a one-trick pony. We do everything from poetry reading, theatrical performances to hip-hop, country, jazz, blues. Yeah, show up, check us out on online at speakeasycannabisclub.com. It's out on Facebook, Speakeasy Vape Lounge. Speakeasy is two separate words. Thanks you very much. I appreciate it.
Another very
Check. This out. Weed Pimp Nation.
Is that a political statement or is that your...
No, Weed Pimp Nation. Our following.
The nation. The Weed Pimp Nation.
Yeah, man. My name is Dustin, and...
Who you with?
J-Dub.
All right,
yeah.
Dustin and J-Dub.
My cousin J-Dub.
And you guys are the founders of Weed Pimp?
Yep.
So what is Weed Pimp?
So then my cousin and I opened up a dispensary in 2009, and he knew it was my nickname, got me a shirt, just said Weed Pimp on the back. And
so what do you currently do today? What is your form of industry?
We are into making the Weed Pimp clothing. That's our main focus.
So that's what Weed Pimp Nation is a clothing company?
Well, I was kind of getting into that. When we first got that first shirt made, we thought people were going to kind of laugh at us. People started asking about it. We started making the clothing, and that was when we had our dispensary, and really the clothing was a second venture that we were on. We were really focusing on our dispensary.
Right.
Maybe in 2011-ish, we got out of the dispensary and put our full focus into Weed Pimp clothing. We're up near 2,000 followers on Facebook, and local weed pimps are all over the place here.
But how do you support where does money come in from supporting yourself? By selling clothing?
Our clothing.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a screen press as
We
well.
also
the
do
business is selling
custom screen printing,
Okay.
embroidery, heat press.
That's the business part where you make money,
Yeah,
and then the activism is kind of where you spend your money.
The activism's the love of ours.
Okay.
Our family is our family. You'd stand up for your mom if she was getting messed with in court, right?
Right.
So anybody that supports us, we fully support them right back.
Yeah. You know, you're a weed pimp, and it comes from your soul. You know, it's a good person.
So anybody can self-declare.
Yeah, there's no fee to be a weed pimp.
It's like a pussy riot.
Yeah,
you just
we're good people.
Audrey sticking up for the indigent programs, that's weed pimping. Juanita making tea out of fan leaves and nuggets and stuff to treat herself without paying thousands of dollars to hospitals, that's weed pimping.
Exactly.
Standing out in the cold for a shop owner getting messed with by by the municipalities. That's weed pimping. Weed pimping is whatever angle you can use cannabis to better yourself or someone around you's life. You take the positive weed pimp movement, which we briefly explained, you mix it with what Jamin's doing here with the Cannabis Club, and someone like Juanita can now come out of the house and mingle and learn with other people like herself,
Right.
while enjoying something that's not liquor,
Right.
or something that's illegal or whatever. Everybody
Or
wins
dangerous.
in that situation.
Exactly.
Society wins because education is spread and responsibility and everything. Nowadays we use ourselves as examples. We can bridge the gap between medical, recreational, young, old, naive, knowledgeable. Doesn't matter. Weed pimp gets talked about, period, because it's a flagrant term. And that's what we kind of designed it for. Turned his old nickname into something that creates thought and spark and energy and progress.
I like it.
Yeah, friend us up, man. We're Weed Pimp Nation on Facebook. You can check us out at weedpimpnation.com.
There you have it, the truly unique Weed Pimps, Weed Pimp Nation. As they said, look them up, find them on Facebook, go straight to their webpage. As much activism as they're talking about, they are a clothing company, and they got some pretty cool stuff there too. So right on their website, check out their designs, support them by buying some shirts or hats. All that financial support goes back and helps out the overall community. Guys who are truly putting their money where their mouth is, from business to activism. All right, now we have one of my favorite segments coming up, especially since we've redone our intro and our music for this. Can't wait to present it out to you. It's a little fun. Spent a couple hours in the studio last week with my sponsor, Dairy Berry Studios. We spent a couple hours remixing, remastering, doing a little bit of recording, and we came up with this new intro for Cannabis. That's right, the only platform that allows individuals from around the world to publicly confess to the world about a time with cannabis. Feeling guilty about a time with cannabis? Get it off your chest and confess it on Cannabis, your public forum to absolve your soul.
New voice message, Thursday, 6:49 p.m.
Excuse me, Father, for I have kind of sinned. I have a confession to make about this one time when I used to run this all-ages venue, and we only did shows once a week, and the venue was coming to an end. The police kept coming through there, and we knew that one day they were going to raid us. And so for our very last show at my venue, we decided to roll the biggest blunt that we had ever smoked. And so we put 1 whole ounce of chronic, probably jack hair across with Afghani, into this blunt. And as we sparked it, we almost set the room on fire. The flame shot so high in the air. But this blunt made it around the whole room, not just everyone on stage, but everyone in the audience, with the exception of, people's parents and whatnot, who probably were a little shocked. And we smoked the whole ounce, and everyone in that venue got to hit it. And so that is my confession about the time that I smoked the biggest blunt I'd ever seen. Please forgive me, but I cannot promise that I won't do it again.
And that was Cannabis. If you have a confession to make, contact me via Facebook or the website at cannabiscommunityproject.com. Are you ready for this week's Twin News? This Week in News? I hope so, because there's always good stuff piling up. And that's why you need to let us just be the ones to go out there and find it and bring it to you. You don't need to go searching through all the social media, Facebook, Google, Twitter, wherever it may be that you're looking for cannabis articles. We'll go out, aggregate it, consolidate it, regurgitate it, and bring it back to you. Now, does that mean we're reporters? I wish. I wish I had that kind of dedication and discipline to go through journalism school. I even wish I knew how to write a decent article that people could understand. So I'm not a journalist, and I'm not really a reporter, and I'm extremely biased, so I don't think I fall into any of these standard journalism rules. But what I am is a person who's highly connected to social media. So I'll get it first, I'll get it here, and I'll get it to you. And you won't really know the difference anyways, because let's be honest, wherever you're getting your news from now, they're really doing the same thing. Everybody out there is just a blogger or some regurgitator. Well, I can't say everybody. I can picture 1 or 2, 3, maybe 4 people who are actually journalists out there investigating, doing real work. But they don't work for us and we don't work for them. And quite frankly, they're not doing anything about cannabis that's real anyways. So here it is. Twin News this week in news. The best of the best social media news brought back to you by somebody else.
Good news!
Here we go. First up, now we're going to just jump right in with the internet buzz for the week. Reporting by many sites. I'm reading off of cannabis.org, but also Cannabis College, and just about every other site has been posting about the recent MRI study that's been buzzing all around the internet about the anti-cannabis activists, I guess, or whatever information they're trying to display here. I have tried to read many articles and none of them are getting to the bottom line, but we've heard about it. This study that says smoking cannabis can make your brain physically changed, or various titles. But none of them actually say what is being changed, if the change is negative, or what the change has to do with anything. Because to say that putting something in your body is affecting your brain, well, that's just to simply state the obvious. Everything we put in our body affects our brain because we are bags of skin filled with chemicals. So everything from water to food to even cannabis is going to have a chemical reaction throughout our body and affect our brain physically. It's a biological system. So a very brilliant analysis of the recent study that casual cannabis use is associated with abnormalities in brain structure. You can read about it at, like I said, cannabis.org or Cannabis College. But there's a very specific article that people should go to. The MedPage Today, Striking a Nerve. It's a story basically talking about what's going on here with this. I'm not going to go too much into it, but I just wanted to start with that to get that out of the way since everybody's been talking about it. Moving on the weed list, Reno City Council unanimously approved the concept of the medical marijuana business on Wednesday, directing city staff to come up with ordinances and zoning requirements to oversee dispensaries, grow houses, test labs, and kitchens for edible products. Well, there you go. So stupid, isn't it? A state whose whole business is based on alcohol and gambling has resisted or is just now coming around to figuring out how to sell and make money off of cannabis. London Cannabis Club posting, it's booze that fries your brain, not cannabis. Again, referring to the article that was previously mentioned. Cannabis law reform. Colorado moves to shut down rated medical cannabis business. In the Denver Post, there's some articles being posted about the VIP lounge, how Colorado has been raiding some dispensaries. Back in 2012, state investigators discovered multiple illegal after-hour sales of medical marijuana at the VIP Cannabis in Denver. They raided them, shut it down, and I guess now they're back up and operating. Well, as long as everybody still has a job, right? Nobody loses their job. The dispensary, the center, gets to still operate and pay tax money, and then that tax money is rightfully used to employ individuals to raid them and take that money back. The full circle of life. Cannabis.org again posting about Governor Scott Walker of Wisconsin, and it only caught my eye because I was born in Wisconsin, Madison, Wisconsin. Cheeseheads! But anyways, Governor Scott Walker of Wisconsin signed a very narrow bill allowing cannabis oil to be used as treatment for seizures, happening yesterday. Wow, it really takes this much to help people with seizures. Not even the debate of recreational use, but to actually have a debate all the way up through 2014 in, what does that mean, narrowly allowing? I'm not even sure what that means, but to narrowly allow somebody having seizures to take something that is a known proven fact to help. Who are these people? I think they truly are the reptile people that we've heard about, people talk about. Mulway's Medical Cannabis Ltd. posting a link, sharing a link. Is Guatemala next to legalize cannabis? Guatemala could present a plan to legalize production of cannabis and opium poppies towards the end of 2014. The country is hoping the move will curb the power of organized crime, stated by President Otto Perez. Well, there you go. That's coming from a legitimate source also, the Huffington Post, UK, originally posting that. Countries are finally starting to get it about the war on drugs, of who was actually the victims of the war on that one. But thank God we're finally getting around. I mean, if Guatemala can do it, Mexico a few years ago did it, legalized all drugs in small quantities, personal use. Nobody knows that. It's never really talked about. But if countries like this really understand what's going on, the whole Portugal experiment, I think the rest of the world is going to quickly see what's going on, and eventually good's going to win. Good's going to win over evil. And keeping cannabis illegal is creating evil. Unfortunately, in the long run, waiting for good to finally conquer, we may all be dead or in jail, but it's comforting to know that good always wins. Anyways, moving on. California Cannabis Coalition sharing a link about Colorado, stating Denver's 420 Marijuana Festival reportedly creates a tourism windfall. There are a lot of explanations for the stoner term 420. Some people say it represents 4:20 p.m., the time immediately after classes. What? All right. We're not going to go and tell the ridiculous stories of 420. The point is, here in Denver, we have rallies. People come out, they smoke, they do it outdoors. Now people from all around want to come smoke with us. We're the cool kids on the block. We're no longer just dirty hippies climbing mountains and eating granola. Myth versus reality. Cannabis.org. Not only has the gateway drug myth been busted by recent studies, if you believe that alcohol is more harmful than cannabis, as most Americans do, then we should be advocating for higher use of cannabis, as this recent Swedish study suggests that cannabis users are less likely to abuse alcohol. Now, that is a very true statement. And when I say true, I don't mean, here's a folder of empirical data to back that up. I mean true from an individual story. I confessed to my mom a few years ago about my use of cannabis and my motives behind it. I've pretty much tell everybody that asks why I use it. The official reasons are pain control. I mean, that's what I got my card under. But only because there wasn't the correct box to check that truly states what's going on. And what's going on is that, openly admitted, I'm an individual that when I drink alcohol, not good things happen. And it's not good for me physically, mentally, or emotionally. However, when I smoke, on whatever level or basis of smoking, when I smoke, I don't have the need or desire to consume alcohol. And that's better for me. That's better for my health. It's better for my family. It's better for society. And I believe there are many, many people out there just like me. I've encountered stories just like my own, people telling me the same thing, that the reason they don't want to drink is because smoking takes that desire away. And it enables them to still be functional. They can do things. They don't wake up with hangovers. They don't destroy their body. They don't get drunk and not able to function and have that anger and that drunkenness that comes with it. Smoking is truly a medicine in all forms, but the biggest fear that alcohol has for legalization of cannabis, medical or recreational, is not necessarily the taking away of sales, but it's the taking away of cultural norm. This idea that we live in a society where individuals drink and that's what everybody does, it's just cool. If you walk into a restaurant, you ask for a beer. You go to somebody's home and they ask if you want a glass of wine. You go out with your boys on a Friday, Saturday night and you're drinking hard liquor. This is what we all come to expect. When you show up to work and you're hungover and you tell your boss, ooh, what a rough weekend you had, there's no look of terror or look of disgust, as if you were to tell them it was a long weekend of smoking cannabis and getting high. So regardless of, hey, let's get high, man. No. And regardless of, so where is your condition of dying of cancer to use this? No. How about use it for whatever reason you want to use it for? But believe this, if there's a society that can be had where culture forms, where individuals find themselves less inclined to drink because of smoking, well, that's a better society that this culture will generate. And that's the kind of society I want my kids to live in. That's the kind I want to live in. And that's the kind that I hope you want to live in. Make it a reality. Fight the myths. That's all the news you need to know this week. And that was Twin News, This Week in News, your weekly source for up-to-date cannabis business. Let's move on now to a new little segment I want to introduce. You know, we've been coming on strong now, coming up on 4 months, and we have not, believe it or not, properly done a legal segment. We haven't spoken to an attorney or a lawyer, don't even know what they prefer to be called. There's just too many people to interview. I don't have enough time, don't have enough show. So I listen to a lot of podcasts, as you all know. So as a podcaster, it is also my obligation to listen to many other podcasts out there. I have probably 25 podcasts in my queue that I listen to throughout the week. All different topics, everything from business to marketing, economics, to the comedy stuff, Joe Rogan, WTF, Adam Carolla, the whole deal. But I also listen to a lot of legal podcasts because I'm very interested in learning. And I have this podcast that I just started listening to called Partida for the People podcast with Samuel Partida Jr., criminal law. Partida for the People. I also listen to another one called Handle on the Law with the guy's name, believe it or not, is so-and-so Handle. But I'm not knocking his name of the show. I do love it because it's short, it's to the point, it talks about what you want to hear, it cuts out all the fluff. In last week's show, he jumped right into some issues about possession and having prosecutors making possession charges into intent charges. And he spent a couple minutes talking about cannabis in a couple situations. So my ear is always open, and when I hear somebody say cannabis, or marijuana or weed or any of those other words, but cannabis, I want to grab it and I want to relay it to my audience. So I got his permission for this, and I'm going to replay just a couple minutes of his podcast where he talks directly about a situation that could happen really to any of us. Probably a little less here in Colorado, but for those of you outside of Colorado, definitely a situation it can happen to. If you're a teenager in high school, definitely a situation that this can happen to you. So here he is talking about cannabis. I mean, he was talking about, many other drugs and possession and everything, but specifically the piece I picked out was his little blurb on cannabis and possession. Let's take a quick listen about cannabis and possession, legal analysis, and let's try to make this weekly, if not a couple times a month, part of the show. because I do believe learning about legal issues is just as important as learning about health issues or growing issues, and even the root of this show, business issues. Here we go. Partida for the People with Samuel Partida Jr., Criminal Law.
Welcome to Partida for the People podcast, where we share the knowledge and experience of expert criminal law advocates. We teach you how to be an effective criminal law advocate. Now, what I was getting at is that sometimes what appears to be a straight possession charge can actually pretty easily turn into a possession with intent charge. And it just depends on what other facts or circumstances the police or the prosecutor believe that they think they can establish that. More common example, for example, would be something with cannabis. A car gets pulled over, there's a bunch of teenagers in it. One person is found with marijuana in his possession in his pocket. All of the kids are separated. Everybody's nervous. Nobody knows what's going to happen. All of the kids are telling the cops, we were just going into the forest preserve because we were going to smoke a little bit of marijuana. No harm, no foul. The cop then says, well, who had the marijuana? Oh, Johnny had it. He was gonna provide it for us. He was gonna give it to us. They sit down. The officers separate Johnny. They ask him, this is what the kids are saying. Johnny may not necessarily be thinking at that time, I gotta keep this a straight possession charge. I can't get into possession with intent. And Johnny just, casually says, oh yeah, we were all gonna smoke. I had it. I was the one that bought it, and we were all going to smoke the cannabis that I had. Under those facts and circumstances, this, teenager maybe has no other criminal history. He is now, he can, legally, logically be argued in court that he is in possession with intent to deliver cannabis because all his friends were going to go smoke. He was the only one that had the cannabis, so he was the one that was going to distribute or to provide that cannabis to his friends. And very easily, what you have is a first-time offender. You have, for all intents and purposes, a kid who was just going to smoke weed, he thought, with his friends, and now he's, facing a possession with intent to distribute a cannabis charge, a felony offense that could, very, very easily change the rest of that individual's life. And again, what factor was present in that circumstance? I didn't even mention it. Statements, confessions or words, statements by other individuals is another very important factor. And in the facts, the teenager getting pulled over by cops, many a times in those situations, they're just giving it up. They're saying, yeah, we were all going to smoke it. I was going to give it to them. And so that's how what appears to be a mere possession situation can turn into another possession with intent. How is it that it's defended? One of the main ways is you look at the factors. You look at, how many factors are present. If it's the weight, hopefully it's an ambiguous amount of drugs. Like, though it's not a massive amount of drugs. So maybe that's something to fight about. Maybe there's not too many factors present, or maybe the factors that are present can be explained, believably to a jury or to a judge. And that's really what you're doing. You're attacking the factors that I mentioned, and you're arguing to a judge or to a jury, look, judge, this is a mere possession case. These factors, these other situations are not sufficient to conclude that this individual was in possession with intent to deliver. And then aside from that, the only other way is mitigation. And what I mean by mitigation is, we're telling the judge, look, judge, I need a little bit of time to put together a mitigation packet. I want to deliver it to the state's attorney's office, and we're going to apply for a prosecutorial discretion. And that is just a fancy legal talk way of saying we're going to beg for a reduction, right? The defense attorney is going to go to the prosecutor and point out the facts and circumstances of this case. This is not an active drug dealer. This is a teenager who's just going to smoke with his friends. I have an addict. We have an addict in our case. This is not a big-time drug pusher. You gather as much good facts that you can find on your client. You put it together in a presentable fashion to the state's attorney's office in the hopes that they agree with you that, yeah, this is not a big-time drug pusher. This is a mere user. And even though they believe they have the factors for possession with intent, they're going to make an offer on a straight possession case. That's probably the only other way to really defend these cases. And there's no pretty way to say it. That's just straight begging, right? That's just you, the defense attorney, coming to the prosecutor, asking them to do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. No guarantees that they're going to agree that is the right thing to do. No guarantees that they're going to offer your client a possession with intent. A straight possession charge. And if they don't give you the offer that you're looking for, nothing you can do about it, really, right? Take the case to trial and hopefully win it with some of your other issues. Can't complain to the judge. The judge won't get involved in those negotiations because what you're really asking is for a change in the charge, and the judge and the court doesn't get involved with that. It's basically you and the prosecutor coming up with the best arrangement that you possibly can.
There you have it. Real legal commentary by a real attorney. I'm going to track down more of them, and I'm going to track down more of them here in Colorado that are specifically dealing with the cannabis industry, because we need to know more about it. I mean, just because legalization is happening and decriminalization has happened and we have a whole recreational market going, doesn't mean that the police have just stopped arresting, harassing, and prosecutors pressing charges against people and kicking in doors and SWAT teams and the whole deal. There's still rights being violated out there, and there are still government officials using the law and the power of the law to intimidate and harass individuals about this. So we're going to seek some of the well-known attorneys out, maybe not so well-known, but those who are in the industry, who understand the law and who can talk to us very straightforward about it, from being a business owner, dispensary owner, or grower, to a patient, to even the guy who gets busted on the corner, because we all need to understand the law because we live in a society of laws. And if you're listening to this show, you're part of a cannabis community. So you're part of a community in a society that is based on laws. So we might as well understand them, because one day, you may need to understand the law yourself. So I want to thank Samuel Partida for his contribution and his permission to let me use a couple minutes of his podcast there to help educate you all. Make sure you check out his podcast. You can find it on, I'm sure, any platform, but I specifically found it on Stitcher, and I just looked up under the category of law, and I found it right there, Partida for the People podcast with Samuel Partida Jr., criminal law. Take a listen. This week's show is brought to you by HMO Plus for all your growing needs. Visit them at www.hmopluss.com. Thanks for listening to this week's show. Make sure to come back next week. We're going to have even more guests lined up, speaking with dispensary owners, growers, business owners, even musicians for more of our Musicpreneur episodes. Make sure to follow us on all of the social media, Facebook, Kush Common, Google+. You can listen to our shows live from the website or your preferred listening platform. Find us on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spreaker, even YouTube, all under the same name, CannabisCommunityProject.com. We'll see you next week.